face for radio. I've never heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
It means that you sound good and you're ugly.
Oh, got you.
I wish I had a bong and you'd hear the... So what's up, Scott? What day is it?
I don't know. I think Thursday, yeah.
January 3rd, 2019.
2019.
2 days into 2019.
3 days.
3 days. Damn it. I lost a day. That's why. After New Year's, I slept for a whole day. So
wow.
I lost a day, which I try not to do.
Nice.
But yeah.
Well, welcome to the second podcast.
Awesome. I'm excited to be on your second podcast.
I'm excited.
Who did you interview before this?
Yesterday was Keiki. I don't think you know her.
No, I don't.
No.
How do you know her?
It's a long story. But we've been friends for a while, and she's
Is that the girl that Drake sings about?
Oh my god. She talked about that yesterday. She's not Kiki. You don't love me. It's Keiki.
How do you spell it?
Keiki.
Keiki.
Mm-hmm.
No idea.
No. Okay.
I can't even find her. Great. No, I couldn't find her. I don't know what.
So let's just jump into it. Who are you?
Who am I?
Well, I guess I should introduce you, I guess.
Yeah. What do I do? Like, for a living?
Yeah, so you go by the name of Monty, Monty.
Yes, my last name is Monterosa.
Monterosa.
So people call me Monty.
Okay.
Because it sounds very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely does. And what do you do?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I get that a lot. I mean, I create content, first of all.
Yeah.
So kind of take pictures, make videos, make sure that whatever's happening gets documented in some sort of way.
Right.
Because yeah, it's the future. It's 2019, so everything needs pictures, everything needs photos, it needs to be documented. And yeah, I make music videos, edit, produce. I shoot anything that really revolves around media.
Woo. 2019. I mean, I find that crazy now. Like, everything does need to be filmed or photographed. And, like, if you go around and you see all these famous people, like, a lot of them have their own individual photographer or videographer when, like, 10 years ago, that wasn't even a thing. I don't know. I just find that.
I mean, it's definitely part of the business.
Crazy.
Like, everyone does what they're doing, regardless of like what category it is. I mean, there's musicians, you could be a cook, you could be like a race car driver, you could do whatever you want to do, but as long as it's documented, you'll find an audience and kind of grow who is around you and what's going on, you know?
Right.
And there's tons of money being made in finding that audience and developing a list of people that are into whatever specific category you're into. And the only way you can really reach that audience is by having pictures, documentation, like ways to show other people like, wow, there's other people doing this too, and kind of like gravitating your circle.
Yeah. I have like this list of like podcast questions, but some are
Lists are good. Lists are important.
Yeah. Some are just like, what would you want to be when you were younger? And I guess, what would you want to be when you were younger?
What did I want to be
when
I was younger? I never really thought about it. I kind of I always knew what I didn't want to do, which like led me into like, I always knew I didn't want to like have to wear a uniform every day or like be forced to like do something that I didn't want to do. And I had like, if somebody had ever told me, hey, you have to cut your hair, that's not where I wanted to be then.
Right.
So I always kind of knew what wasn't good for me, but I never really had a goal. I was never like, I want to be an astronaut or a police officer or whatever. I just kind of like, just want to do things that I think are interesting.
Right.
And I think that are important for me, which sounds kind of self-centered if you really think about it, but whatever.
Kind of.
But then that leads you to the things that are important, you know, or at least what you think is important, and everyone's definition of importance is different for sure. But yeah, I think that's how I ended up creating content, and just it's the simplest way of getting multiple messages across. It's like just seeing what everyone does, and like when things are just there, you kind of see them for what they are, rather than like getting a different perspective. I'm really high.
Can you go into what you just said?
What was the question again? Let me get from the root again.
Well, I mean, like, what did you want to be when you were younger? Obviously, not a spaceship astronaut or a police officer, but you had no like vision of like, this is it. This is what I want to be. Like, has that changed over the years? Like the past couple of years, you're like, oh, this is what I want to be doing, or are you still like in a flowy state of, oh, I'll create content, and like when something pops up that you really want, then that's what you'll go get? Or
I don't know. I think that I've always kind of gravitated towards photos and like video as soon as like cameras started becoming popular. Probably when the first MacBook came out, I remember using it just to make, and then YouTube, I think I was more like into the internet and like using the computer. So, I mean, the majority of internet is just words and photos and videos. So if you're using the internet, you're doing one of those three things.
Right.
I wasn't so much into words. I don't like writing. I'm not so into like blog posts and writing about things. I like just making videos and letting people get what they do from the photos or videos of what they see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I was going somewhere with this. I got lost. What were we talking about right before that?
Like, did you like, do you have a path of like, now that you've been in this content creation for a while, like,
is there something stronger?
Is there something
pulling
stronger
you in a certain direction?
Exactly.
I think just documenting, like I said before, what you think is important. That's what's pulling me in the direction. Like, oh, I'm really into, organic farming. So I love fresh food. Oh, that's something that I want to explore.
Right.
Something that I think other people should see as far as from my eyes and why I think it's important,
Have
or
you
like
done
I
that
love
yet?
music. So I think this one artist is important. Okay, I'm going to go see that artist do this and make sure that that's shown because everyone should know. And if they can find out from a cool picture, then that's great. If they don't, then whatever. Go do your own thing,
Yeah.
So I feel like just what I show people is where I want things to lean,
Okay.
And even when I'm working for someone else, I mean, pictures are simple. They're like one or two things. It'll be the artist or whoever is in it plus another object.
Right.
So you can just lead that into the direction that you want someone to look, I can go into more detail if you need an example.
I mean, can you go into what you do?
What I do?
So let's say like people who are just finding out about you are listening. Hopefully it's a lot.
Right.
Yeah. But
so I have a production company.
Okay.
It's called Stacking Footage.
Woo.
Make music videos, content, primarily video. So we do lighting, production, full production service. So you can go to my website. It's stackingfootage.com.
Stackingfootage.com.
Yeah.
Nice. But you like, right now you're mostly doing music, whether that be music videos, events.
I work independently with a lot of music producers and create content for their websites. I mean, when they have events, I'll make sure that everything they paid for gets covered.
Right. And how did you even get into that?
I used to work at, how did I start? When I was 19, I left high school and then...
Well, you dropped out?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I finished high school and then I went to a college, like a community college in LA, and I didn't really like it. So I was there for about 2 years, and then I was only there for a year, and then I lied for the second year, saying that I was going, but I actually didn't finish going. What? Yeah, I didn't go for a whole year, and I was just kind of working. I was working for some Caribbean singer lady, and I was helping her with her business. It was kind of whack, so I was like, this is not cool. I started looking for other jobs. I I knew I wanted to do something kind of in video and photo. So I started applying around, and then I got a job at Maker Studios, which was like a subsidiary of YouTube. They kind of like were a group of a bunch of like YouTube stars that had like made it big and started the platform. And they started their own studios. They had their own space. They had like a green screen. They had to just build offices. It was really cool. They were kind of just seeding content and starting multiple channels. So I was working for a channel called Tutele, and they were producing Spanish branded content. It was kind of like YouTube had first started, so they were getting like the algorithm right. So they were developing like what the comment section did, and they were changing like the stars to the thumbs up.
Oh.
And then they were like introducing annotations and like introducing what was it? Closed captioning, the actual like subtitles. They didn't have the automatic algorithm yet, so people had to like manually type in. I was making like thumbnails. I remember I was making thumbnails for all the channels, and those were like the effective ways of getting clicks.
Oh wow.
So we were developing tons of channels, like news shows, whatever you can, and kind of what YouTube is now, but it was the seeds of that. And whatever, we were working for the Spanish channel. We had this show. I started writing it because something happened with like the comedians they had. They had some pretty like big comedians at the time, and they didn't want to work on the show, or they were busy doing their own stuff. So then they just kind of gave it and handed it over to us, and they had us writing it. And then we had shooters. And then after that, I kind of needed more money. They weren't paying a lot. So I was like, I need a better job. And I started working for a marketing agency in Long Beach. And they were kind of doing a lot of the Ford events, and they would go out, kind of what like music is. They would just go to a bunch of events, set up a stand, and they would need content of it. And this was when Instagram was first coming out.
Oh wow.
So this guy like worked for Ford. He always tried to do like cool things. He built out a truck, like an old Ford F-150, and he resto modded it, and then he had just a bunch of classic cars. So Instagram was rolling out, and he had all these cool cars. So I was like, let me just start an Instagram page for this guy's cars. And I started learning how to use it and develop it, and turn it into like a business tool to like lead, links your way and get you a little bit higher. So as soon as that started happening, Instagram became really, really relevant. And yeah, I just learned how to use that as a business tool. So I would help businesses with content. A lot of putting photos in Google Maps, that helped a lot of businesses, and it also like helps your website. So I was really good at getting websites popular and getting tons of traffic through like the use of good images and good links and good videos. And while I was doing that, I met my friends. I met all like the late night laggers. So I started working with them in like the underground music scene in LA. They would throw like a bunch of like after hours and warehouse parties, and like bring the music and the culture and like bring people together. So I was doing that, and that slowly evolved and like turned into, oh man, there's hours of this. It's a long
to where I'm at now. Cliff Notes version.
The Cliff Notes version.
Like, were there specific key moments that led you to where you are now? I know a lot of times it's like all these small moments, meeting like one person who leads you to another, who leads you to the
I think
next,
it's all just kind of persistence, like whatever you are doing, it's just about keep doing it,
Do you find that hard, being persistent?
I think it's hard being consistent.
Okay.
Like being persistent is just about you not stopping, but being consistently good is a whole nother thing. Or like your quality, your filter, your control, it has to be either getting better or be consistently good. Some people just put out garbage constantly. And yeah, you might get 30,000 followers, but at the end of the day, it's garbage. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So like I talked about this yesterday with Keiki, but like what's your opinion on like people who are actually making a living for themselves? And
it's great. It's awesome. I mean, if you
not putting out the best content though.
It's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome if someone's able to make a living off of just what they like to do, even though it's not, perfect. Yeah. It's awesome. But I guess maybe I'm in a lucky position where I don't have to force myself to put out thousands of things. You know what I mean? I can just kind of like spend a lot of time doing one or two things and then make them as good as possible to like slowly build something much, much stronger than having 5,000 pieces. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a long subject also.
Yeah.
Quality versus quantity, you know? But yeah, content is king, and apparently quantity wins as far as the algorithm goes, you know?
Which
like
sucks.
more is better.
Yeah.
It's that like that mindset.
Because it makes it harder for like people who like you or like me.
You know how annoying it is to put hella hashtags in all your comments? Like this shit takes forever. And it's like, okay, yeah, maybe I should be typed, but it's like, for what? It takes so much time. Like I said earlier, I don't care about writing or words or I just want to see things, you know?
Right.
It's weird. It's like an addiction almost. Just like seeing things constantly. You just got to see things. You just got to look, stare at a screen all day.
And you're addicted to that.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, definitely. Like looking at screens constantly, your phone, computer, you wake up, then I put a camera in my face, and then I go print it, then I scan it, then I look at the computer, making the colors, just colors all day.
Colors all day.
I changed my logo.
You did?
Yeah. I'll show it to you later.
Okay.
It's colors. It's pretty much that concept.
Another, be careful.
Sorry. I was playing with a lighter.
You can play with it like on your lap. I'm just afraid like the noise may pick it up or whatever. What was like your worst gig you've ever done?
I don't want to name any names.
You don't have to name any names. Let's just, what happened? How'd you end up there? And what'd you learn from it?
I mean, everything has its purpose, I guess. But there's definitely things I shouldn't have done. I've had a lot of bad gigs. I don't know. You just kind of, I don't know. I focus on the good ones, I guess.
Yeah.
But then the good ones are also the ones that like you do the most for and get the least. You know what I mean? Like you'll get your portfolio or like what you need for yourself, but they're never the best ones. You know what I mean? I think the ones that you don't think are the best ones. Like someone you haven't connected with yet, but you will connect with later, or like someone that's a real friend. Someone like in your actual life are the best gigs for sure. Some of them were like, wow, this was so cool. We were on this crazy building and like we got all this free shit and everyone was there. Like, yeah, it was cool, but it was not the best work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
What was like the best work or gig that you've ever had?
I don't know yet. I'm never happy with anything. So I think everything's garbage all the time. I'm never happy with what I produce. I mean, like I might show something to somebody and they're like, whoa, this is so fucking awesome. Like, how did you get this? So like blah, blah, blah. But I always think I'm like, fuck, but I could have fixed this or I could have done this or look at that little tiny piece right there. Like that's so not right. Or that color's wrong or that shadow's off. Never happy with it. I mean, if I'll tell you my favorite pictures, I can show them to you. I've been using the Nishiko a lot and I really like those pictures, but I kind of feel like it's cheating. I feel like film is cheating sometimes.
What's the Nishika? Can you go into that?
The Nishika is a stereoscopic film camera that takes 4 images on 2 pieces of 35 millimeter film. So when you overlay the images on a certain focal point, that it kind of looks like it's moving. So it's like a GIF from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So
anyway, so yeah, you've been doing a lot of work with that and like honestly some of my favorite. Because I've seen it a lot of times, but you keep in the film spokes?
Yeah, the film
like
stock.
where the film spokes would go.
Yeah, I just leave it on. It's kind of cool.
I like it a lot.
Rather than cropping into the middle of the picture, you just leave the film grain or the film stock on top, and it looks really nice.
It does.
Yeah, because it adds color. It kind of adds like the analog element.
Yeah.
To what? But I mean, you can present things a million ways, and make it look cool, you know?
Yeah.
It's just about, but keeping it natural is definitely really important.
Is that going to be something that you continue with?
I don't know. I kind of just feel it out. Whatever looks nice. And you never know what happens, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe. But film's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just found out today from you that you get your film developed for $6.
$6 from Betty at 19. Should I say it?
Yeah.
Or else everyone's gonna go there. And she's gonna start charging more.
Should you say it?
No. Betty at 19-minute photo. She's killing it.
19 minutes to develop a roll of film. Or can you give her 5 rolls of film and it's 19 minutes for all of them?
I think it's 19 minutes each.
Okay.
I think it probably takes, I don't know. Maybe
Dude,
just
that's
two machines.
so nice.
I have no idea.
Wow.
I have no idea how it works.
Because in San Francisco, it's like, I'll drop it off Monday and they're like, we'll have it ready for you on Friday. And then if you want scans or anything, like shitty scans, like they're like, yeah, it will be like an extra day or two. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, it takes a day to scan the film. And then one time I went to go get my film scanned at some place in Long Beach and they ripped me off. It was like, you're charging like $50 or some shit to scan like 3 fucking rolls. That was bullshit. That was such a
for the develop and scan?
Yeah, and I asked somebody and they were like, yeah, that's how much it costs. No, it was just a scan.
See, that's about normal. Like anywhere from like 35 to 50.
That's bullshit. I bought a fucking scanner for $200.
Yeah.
No, that's bullshit. And it wasn't like, I wasn't so impressed by the quality. I think that's why I was more mad. It was like a shitty PSD file. That was basically a JPEG that they just saved as a PSD. It wasn't even like a real high quality PSD. Yeah. I forgot their name or else I would shout them out.
Shout them out. Literally. When starting out or even today, like what is the worst piece of career advice you've ever been given?
Oh, that's a good question. I wish I had an answer for that right away.
I have tons.
Really?
Yeah.
Give me one of yours.
Do not work for free.
I can agree with that.
And I want to go
Don't
into
do
that.
Things for
like,
free? No, that's dumb.
Like, I've turned down so many good things because I wasn't getting paid and because like people told me do not work for free.
I mean, value your time, definitely.
Yeah, definitely value your time, but like also, you know, this new client comes to me and I turn it down because I don't want to work for free, right? And then they go after somebody else. And then looking at that person's career now and all the opportunities that they had from that one gig or whatever it may be.
Also, sometimes when people tell you do something for free, they might just be inviting you somewhere. And like the expectations are low.
Right.
So it's not like, hey, come here for free. Take me 150 pictures. It's like,
right.
Hey, I went there. Look at this one picture I took. Oh, that's so cool. I'll see you later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes people just want people around, like hanging out, you know? Like, especially in LA, there's a lot of just like, oh, this is like this person. And then people just introduce, like, it's a lot of networking, you know? So I guess it depends how they ask you.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's true.
But networking is so important. Just like remembering people and like acknowledging people.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important things is like getting business and like getting jobs. And like, yeah, you might be super skilled, but you never leave your freaking house and no one knows, you know? Sometimes people just need to meet you to know like your work and yourself. And then that's how you can kind of develop stronger relationships with people and like seed out your work. It's really important.
Yeah.
To network.
See, and that's what I want this podcast to kind of be like, is like when people are listening, if they ever do. But, and no offense towards you, it's about me, but I just want it to be kind of like, oh, now people know who you are personally and like feel more connected to you or whoever else it may be, like yesterday, Keiki, and in the future, whoever else. Like people actually know who you are and like they'll follow your work and know, I don't know, like you're just walking on the street. Oh, is that Monty? Blah, blah, blah. Like, cool. And like go up, introduce yourselves and like create this like big wide span network. Cause like, we only see each other on Instagram or whatever it may be, and we don't really sit down and ask personal shit or get to know each other like that. And so that's really what I want to do with this. Bouncing off that, what was the best piece of career advice you ever received?
I don't think I've like received a specific piece, but I definitely pick up on things.
Okay.
Because I've worked with a lot of people, and I just kind of, I think observing is the most important thing. Like just always at whatever, if it's like physically observing or just like being conscious of what's happening, just like look at things at whatever you're kind of trying to follow or whatever it is that you're just look. It's really, really important. That's always the first step. Is observation is the first step to analysis. And you can't really figure things out or how to do things or how to like be creative without analyzing things first. So like observation is really, really important. And observation includes all your senses. So it's like sight and sound and smell and touch. So like observing things at first is really, really important. And then, I mean, I've gotten lots of like little things like, I don't know, like getting your foot in the door is always really important. No matter how it is, just contacting, that potential client, that first customer, getting your foot in the door is really important. But yeah, I have a million things. I wish I would have had these questions earlier. I could have written them down, but yeah. What's the next question?
Advice to somebody who's just starting out in this field. Like if somebody were to come up to you, oh my God, are you Monty? No, I'm just starting out. Like,
I get questions sometimes from people. There's been a couple times where like, man, people think I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I've been doing it for a while. So like I'm able to like take care of your shit. Like, especially if you're trying to do video stuff's really expensive. Buy nice things first, take care of them, rent them, don't let your cameras just sit there. Use them. If you have it, just use it. But, take care of your stuff for sure. Cleanliness is really important to having a really successful business. And being able to make more money, because you have to make money. You can't just not. And it's hard being a photographer and doing video, keeping up with like buying things and keep your stuff clean. Be really clean. And email people. It's important. Email back. Rapid fire.
Now, do you follow that advice?
Sometimes I just don't want to talk to anyone and I'll just be editing all day and I won't email anyone.
Yeah.
But there's definitely opportunities that I lost.
Right.
Because I didn't email somebody back right away or I didn't click a button.
Right.
Financial and future opportunities have been lost. But whatever. You learn. It doesn't matter. There's always things happening.
Yeah.
As long as you're trying and consistent and persistent, then getting work is easy. Skill helps too. It's a different subject.
Yeah. How would you, so somebody came up to you and was like, oh, I love your work. Like, how do I get to the level of quality that you're at?
Just use it. Just start using. Just start. Just do it. Just like if you want to use After Effects, just open After Effects. If you want to use Premiere, if you want to make videos, just open Premiere. Just go record, figure it out. Just do it. Just start opening every button and click every menu. Just look. And then as far as keeping quality clean, I mean, that's being clean. Like organization and like looking, observation. You got to look and make sure that what you're doing is clean and make sure it's focused, make sure it's sharp.
Oh my God.
Yeah. If you don't double check, you're going to regret it, Yeah. So like,
even if that's just making sure like a hair is out of somebody's face or like, because then that can just
like what's in your frame is in your frame and you're responsible for what's in your frame. And if you want to be irresponsible, then it's going to look like shit. But if you were on top of it, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes there's just that shit where like, wow, I took that picture on accident on the side of my hip. It's gold, But, if you want to do it consistently and you have somebody's paying you money and they expect deliverables, then you have to make sure it's good. And if you want to put your name on it, then you have to make sure it's also really good. If you don't want to put your name on it, then just whatever, fire off, get some evenly exposed shots and then hand them out and then they'll be happy. But if you want to put your name on it and you want it to be good, then you have to like put your touch on it and like literally put your hands in it.
I know you probably, I mean, after viewing your work and for the past couple years, it seems like you just do whatever you want. But do you have those clients where you have to, shoot to their specific brand?
Well, generally the people, I'm really lucky. I mean, I rarely post, and I just don't really like using social media as much. I'm not so into it. Like, I like looking at it, but I'm not so much of a poster. I don't really care who sees what. I don't care about getting likes. I don't care about comments, but I know it's something really important for your business. But I'm really lucky that I've been surrounded by a good group of other artists and other friends and other people that are in the similar world as me, where they respect me, and I've been able to keep getting clients. And that's part of like networking and like developing your relationships and emailing and contacting and communicating. And also, you know, the portfolio is something important to show people, but keeping your network and your relationships alive is really what will help you build a successful, like, creative business. What was the question again?
I don't know. But to yourself, like, what was one thing that you wish you knew before starting this long and windy road?
Invest in good glass really early. I did buy one good lens or two good lenses, but I wish I would have bought more earlier. I bought other things, but your glass, your eyes, the sun, capture it with good glass. Even if it's vintage, as long as it's clean and not scratched, just really good glass.
Did something happen? Like,
no, just I could have had so many pieces of lens. Right, like I have some, you know, I have my little kit. But if I would have started earlier, because I've seen so many pieces of lenses laying around. I've traveled all over the world, and I've seen stuff everywhere, and I've looked at it, but I've never bought it, you know, because I didn't want to spend $50, $100, like $200 in this little store somewhere in fucking Germany, or some little store somewhere in Mexico, you know. There's shit laying around everywhere. No one knows what the fuck they're selling. So like, if it's old, it might be nice, it might be really good. There's so many pieces of glass that I could have bought, and I just didn't.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know why, because what you see on your lens is what you're going to see in real life, you know?
Yeah.
Glass is sand, sand is heat, heat is energy, and you're processing the sun. So, you know, it has to look good. Yeah, that's one thing that I would suggest, is buying good glass right away, and as much of it as you can.
Yeah.
Just because they're all toys, you know, and everything looks different, and you want to have as many options to play with.
Yeah.
At least that's how I feel.
That's my one thing, is like, I need new lenses, but they're so expensive.
They're so expensive.
And I'm like, but I need a new computer also. And I'm just stuck between that right now. Which kind of sucks.
Credit cards.
Yeah.
Yep. Use credit cards.
No, do not use credit cards.
No, as long as you're smart with it. I mean, I bought my first MacBook on a credit card, like back in the day. And then that really helped me get a lot of work and start delivering and be consistent. Then I paid that shit off in like a year.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was just able to start buying my own equipment and being able to run my business through that. Yeah.
Is there something from like other artists that you work with or see that, that you wish you could obtain, whether that be like a work ethic or?
That's interesting. Not that specifically, but there's things I see that how people work, you know? Same thing like I was saying earlier, observation. I definitely like see other artists, a lot of music producers and like other directors and other photographers. I see how their workflows are, you know, and it's things I pick up on. It's like, oh, you got to make sure you do this, you know, this consistently, or you got to make sure like an email looks this way,
right?
Or you got to make sure like a website flows like this, or the colors are like this, or things match up this way, or I definitely pick up on people's work ethics.
Do you have anybody who inspires you, like any directors or photographers?
No.
Do you just inspire yourself?
I definitely look at things all day. So I get lost in the fluff a lot.
What does that mean?
Like I look at content and pictures I'm always on the computer.
Yeah.
I'm always looking at different videos and different pictures. I watch a lot of music videos. I guess that's where I get a lot of inspiration from, is I watch tons of music videos all day. That's all I do. So I just watch music videos. What's recent? I was watching YG and Quavo's video yesterday called Slay. It's pretty funny. They're in heaven.
Oh, Good Boy
There's
Shady
just clouds
did that.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. And they had a horse. Did they have a horse?
I I don't know. I didn't see it. All I saw was like
I need a horse for a music video, and I figured it would be easier for me to get a horse in a studio like they did with clouds than to like find a white horse and like walk it down the street and shit. I'm working on a music video right now, and they require a horse, a white one.
A white horse.
Yeah. So I was watching.
And a lowrider.
And a lowrider. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that should be interesting.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I got a couple hits for a lowrider. I got a pink one.
A pink
one and a gray one.
Wow.
So we'll see what happens with those. But yeah, inspiration, music videos. That's what I do. Is I just watch what other people make. If I'm really interested in someone, like I'll definitely like hunt them down. But I don't have anyone specifically that I'm like, whoa. Yeah, I think everywhere inspiration comes from everywhere.
Right.
Every person. You always see something. I'm sure I've seen something that you've done and I've been like, wow, I'm going to take that. And I maybe have taken it, but I don't remember.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Comes from anywhere.
Is there one person that you would like to work with in the future? Whether that be artist, company, whoever it may be. Like, is there somebody whose style you just respect so much and want to collaborate with?
That's a good question. I mean, I definitely want to make a really good hip hop video. Like a
with
really
who?
good. I don't know.
Kanye?
I mean, no, not with Kanye. It'd be dope making a video with Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, man.
I think that'd be the coolest.
Oh, my
Just
God.
because I grew up in South LA. So I kind of like, I'm always taking the blue line. I'm always taking the green line. And I'm always listening to Kendrick. So it's kind of like, I feel like I can just see it. You know what I mean? I take pictures on the train a lot. I'm always making treatments. So I feel like if I can really see what's on if I can make a really good treatment, you know, I can do it. It's just about, yeah, that's one thing I have. I've thought about this a lot. I just can't talk about it because I'm just looking at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can show you all the pictures and all the giant treatment I made.
Cool.
But I don't want to talk about it because that is a top guarded secret.
Okay. Now, do you feel sometimes when I talk about work that I want to do, I stop thinking about it? Like, it just goes out the window after I bring it up to somebody. Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah, that's just what happened. Because like you start thinking about the work you're doing, but then your brain starts flowing, you know? Yeah. And it's hard to like when focusing, you got to focus, you know? So it's kind of like when you're doing 3, 4, 5 things at once, it's kind of like your brain power takes a lot of energy out of you. Yeah. So it's kind of like when I'm thinking about videos and visuals and content, it's kind of like I have to focus. I have to like look at those pictures, lay them all out, put everything in an order, and then there has to be audio behind it. And it's kind of like creating that environment, that theme, and that world and that role. It takes a lot of concentration. So I think that's why I don't like writing. Just because I focus on the visuals and that takes a lot out of it. Yeah. Yeah. That's why producers are nice. They write for you. They find other people to write.
Do they really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, they'll find people.
Oh, okay.
They'll find somebody to write the words.
And then also like, where do you see yourself in 5, 10,
hopefully I'm still doing this.
20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Doing the same thing. I'm doing what I want to do. Just making videos. Yeah. So hopefully I just keep doing the same and the videos just keep getting better. Yeah. You know, I know there's some people out there that like, I want to make a movie. Like I want to win an Oscar. It's like, nah, I'm cool. I just want to listen to music all day and make videos and then I'll be happy. So I'm doing it. And yeah, I think just collaborating with bigger artists would be really cool. Yeah. I mean, strictly music videos is my focus. So collaborating with a lot of higher end artists for sure would be ideal, like a lot of singers. I mean, I don't know who yet, but we'll see, you know? Right. I don't really force anything. Things just kind of happen. And that's been my workflow and it's been working well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn you. Let's see what else. Yeah, that's about it. Anything you want to add? Go ahead.
No, I don't know yet.
Like, what is your work to you? Like, if you were to look at it from a third person perspective, how would you sum up your work? Does that make sense?
How would I sum it up?
Yeah. So like, oh, Monty's work. Monty.
Oh, if I could put like one word on my work.
No, not even just one word, like a sentence.
Okay. I haven't gotten that far. I know what you mean, though. I know exactly what you're saying, and I know like an answer for it, but I'm trying to think of something that works nicely, you know? It's a tough question.
I know it is.
Because you got to be creative, too. I don't know, man. I'm just out here stacking footage. That's all I do. Shoot, and edit.
Well, what I like about your work is it's very raw, and just super well fucking done.
Thanks. I definitely put a lot of hours into it.
Yeah, it's crispy. Everything's done for a reason. Me, how I work, I'm kind of like nonchalant about it and lazy, and that works for me. In the sense of, if something doesn't go right on a shoot, I'll take that mistake that I made or whatever because I was being lazy and make it into something completely new. And that's how that works for me. But like you're very thoughtful about every decision you make, and like, and you don't settle with bad quality shit.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be conscious. I mean, I care a lot, but also sometimes I think that, what if I just chilled?
Yeah.
And like posted, but then I just don't want to have something bad out that I don't like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I have to be really happy with everything. I know at the end of the day, it's about the person that's in the content, but also like I'm making this and I want to have a high filter.
Right.
And if I'm not happy with it, then it only matters if I'm happy with it. If everyone else is happy, fine. But I want to be happy with it, you know? It's something that I have to look at, something I have to put my name on. And I don't want something not of quality. I want it to be able to last, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to be putting low res stuff out there. And then everyone gets higher res stuff but there's something about keeping it raw, but also crisp.
Yeah.
That is important. That's why you have to be thorough.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I love the shit that you've been doing with the, what is that camera?
Nashika?
Nashika?
Yeah.
Go check it out on his Instagram.
Yeah, I have a couple reels out.
What's your Instagram?
Monty.rec.
So Monty.rec.
Yes. And also my company's Stacking Footage.
Stacking Footage.
Yes, it's at Stacking Footage.
With no G
No, it
in
does
the
have a
ing. So Stacking
No, that's just the
Footage.
email.
Oh, that's just
my
the email.
address,
Okay.
Yeah, which I actually changed it. I just haven't like paid for the other email address to be active. So I'm just, because I had that one originally, but then I bought both domains. So they both work. Let's just say they both work.
Okay, cool.
Yes, they both work.
They both work. Well, cool. Thank you for having me on, making me breakfast.
Right.
I'll end this. Monty, thank you for joining us, or me. I appreciate it. I appreciate your friendship over the years.
Thanks.
We met in such a weird...
We met taking pictures together.
We met taking pictures.
Almost getting struck by fire.
Yeah, at Flask Mob, if anybody remembers that in the LA area.
I was just hanging out because I lived there anyways, and then all these people came through with cameras. I was like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah. And then we just struck a conversation over something, and then...
We almost got hit by a Brillo pad.
Did we? Oh my... How do you remember that?
I don't know. I remember I had a skateboard, though, and that was pretty cool. I remember I got hella followers that day because I made one video, and everyone was like, wow, that's so cool. And I was like, thanks.
Wait, really quick. What's your opinion on Instagram and, like, all the necessity to build a following on Instagram?
What is it for? I mean, it's for linking purposes.
Right.
That's like what the root essential of Instagram is to backlink to whatever it is that you're selling. Mm-hmm. That's where the money gets made, because if you're not selling anything, you're not making actual money. And then the ad dollars go to the thing that you're selling. So at the end of the day, it's somebody selling something being routed back to somebody with a bunch of followers. So it's the backlinks. And the necessity is to either get sponsorship money, advertising money, or linking back to your site. There's some people with Instagrams that don't sell anything or do anything, there's a million reasons to have a large following. But also it's not the only way to develop a successful business, as far as the internet goes. There's thousands of platforms. There's YouTube. I mean, I've made money off of YouTube. I mean, Twitch, there's thousands of people, or millions of people that make money off of Twitch. I mean, it's just about what you want to do, what you think is important, and just doing what you want to do, and you'll naturally attract what it is that, your network. You'll build it that way. Right. There's thousands of ways to build a content business, but that's a different question.
Well, thank you again. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.